It's Monday, March 20th, 2023, and this is episode 279 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. I'm Mark Duvall.
And I'm Dr. Mike.
Mike, I think our poker tournament went pretty well.
Yeah, for you.
Well, I'll tell you what, we got a lot fewer no-shows this time. Didn't you think that, Mike? I mean, based on what you saw at the tables?
Yeah.
So thank you, everybody, for, again, not registering until you knew for sure that you were going to participate. So that was great. Yeah, we did have a few no-shows. I mean, that's going to happen. I got some messages from some people. They said they slept in, things like that, and time change, that kind of thing. But,
and one time I'll probably no-show, too.
Oh, yeah, I'll get you up. Don't worry.
Eventually.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll happen. Mike, remember? So we had 153 entries. Where'd you finish there, Mike, in the 153 entries?
I don't remember, Mark, but I'm sure you know.
Oh, it's right here in the show notes, Mike. If you just take a look at the show notes, 81st you finished. 81st. So almost outlasted half the field.
I once again was getting nothing. I mean, I think I must have played maybe 5 or 6 hands the whole time.
I know, but you were on another table. I saw you limp under the gun with ace rag. That's not how you play good poker, Dr. Mike. You're just asking for trouble in that case.
I'm just hoping to catch somebody.
All right. Yeah, well, I did pretty good. I finished in, let me see here. Second place I finished there.
Second.
Yeah, second place, not too bad.
You know, Mark, who remembers second place finishes? Nobody.
Everybody's going to remember this one, baby, because it's us. We're the ones who put the tournament together. No, I'll tell you what. I mean, obviously, I was getting cards, and I played fine, and I got lucky. You have to get lucky in a tournament like that, a short tournament, to move along a little bit. And I did. I sucked out a few times. There was one hand where my opponent had a straight and I made a full house at the end. There was one hand, I think I was all in with ace queen and I was up against jacks and a queen came on the river. Saved me like that. So hey, there's no question I got lucky along the way.
Oh, that has to happen to whoever wins the tournament.
Yeah, you got to go along.
I mean, I don't think anyone ever has won a poker tournament and not sucked out at least once on somebody.
You got to get lucky along the way. If you're a good poker player, you're going to have positive results over the course of a lifetime. But for an individual tournament, especially something like this that's only 4 hours long, you need to get lucky along the way.
You need to get lucky. And what I'm looking forward to is for every show henceforth, you announce yourself as, and I'm Mark Duvall, second place finisher of the whatever tournament that was.
All right, I may do that for a few episodes. We'll see. I have no promises. Anyway, it came down to me and Dave Mann 49, and we battled it out for quite a while. Heads up, Mike. It was almost like an hour, wasn't it?
It was at least an hour. It went on for a while.
Yeah, it was good. And then my stack started going down quite a bit, and I was very low. The last hand, Dave had raised pre-flop, and I had like queen 4. When your head's up, you're playing a lot more hands than you normally would, right? You think queen 4, that's a terrible hand, but heads up, it's different. Anyway, the flop came 7, queen 7. He bet, and I'm thinking, he's just making a continuation bet, to get me out. This is my chance to go all in. So I went all in with my queen 4, and it turns out he had ace 7. We both caught the flop, and that was the end of me. But a very good tournament. And since I finished within the top 3, we were paying off the top 3 spots. We went ahead and paid off the top 3 spots that weren't me. So we paid off spots 1st, 3rd, and 4th. Again, first place was Dave Mann 49. He got the $100 gift card plus $25 gift card for taking me out, my bounty. Again, I was in second place. Third place was CGC Wyakonda, who is our good buddy Shay. He came in third place for a $50 gift card. And then fourth place was Papa 4 AJA, and he got a $25 gift card. Now, Vegas Addict 87 took you out. Got your bounty for $25. And then Vinnie Mac 14 took out Tim Lawson for $25. So those were the payouts. And again, thanks everybody for playing. Also, listener Richard from England, as he always does, made a $100 donation to the charity of the winner's choice. And Dave Man 29 chose Pause Assisting Veterans. And
Nice.
let me read from their website here. At Pause Assisting Veterans, and they go by PAVE, P-A-V-E, it is our mission and privilege to honor veterans that have served our country. We provide service dogs to veterans at no charge to pave their way to freedom and independence. Through customized training and lifetime support, we contribute to reducing the devastating rate of veteran suicide and offer practical support for veterans that are left with the psychological and or physical wounds of military service. Veterans receive all essential supplies and equipment needed for their service dog upon graduation. So a great cause. Thank you
Nice.
to
Yeah.
Richard and to Dave Man 29.
Yeah, that's a wonderful cause.
Yeah.
Good use of your money.
Yep. And for those of you who are itching to play again, our next tournament is scheduled for September 3rd. Again, that'll be the Sunday before the start of the NFL season. So start
Yeah,
practicing your poker
I'm going
skills.
to practice up.
Yeah, you really should, Dr. Mike.
I'm going to practice up. Maybe I'll just pay attention this time.
Here's what the thing is, Mike. Just don't assume that everybody's out to get you. I mean,
Yeah.
it is kind of true because you've got a bounty.
Right.
But, if you play scared like that, it's not going to work for you.
Yeah, that's true. I'll tell you what, though. I'd like to start with 5,000 next time.
Just you or everybody?
No, just me.
Okay.
Make it 6,000. Enter me twice.
You do need a handicap when it comes to poker. I can attest to that.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh, very well. Well, it was fun.
Yeah,
And,
definitely a good one. And again, about 4 hours. I think it just went just over 4 hours. We got back after that break at the 4-hour mark, and then I think it was just 2 more hands and it was over. So,
yeah, but only you and David got to that last hour.
oh yeah, it was heads up for quite a while.
Actually, it's like a 3-hour tournament. Just Dave, you and me were the only ones paying attention.
I think some of our card night friends were also watching. We were talking,
also watching.
when we got together the other
Okay.
night. So, okay. All right. Well, the last few episodes we've been talking about double deck blackjack being dealt from a shoe, which we thought was odd as opposed to being a pitch game, dealt manually. We got an email from Chris, one of the co-hosts of the Crap Vegas podcast. He says, was listening to the new episode and a couple of things about your discussion on double deck blackjack. I know of multiple places across the country I used to play that dealt and still do deal double deck blackjack from a shoe. I have talked to numerous dealers and floors across the country in these situations, and the answer is always the same. We tried to have a class to teach it, but couldn't get enough people comfortable with it. It's unfortunate, but if the dealers have smaller hands or aging dealers with arthritis, it can make things very difficult for them. This is more of a regional property problem where most dealers are taught in-house. Yeah, we've probably helped make this sound like a bigger deal than it is with our discussion about this on the show, because in reality, the answer probably is just there are more double-deck games being dealt from a shoe because it's hard for some dealers to deal it by hand.
Yeah,
it
it's
is
a hand
hard.
problem.
Yeah, and it is kind of hard to grab 2 decks. Even if you're used to handling cards, it's kind of a different feeling.
And you got to be pretty coordinated. You don't want a dealer dealing who might expose cards or drop them.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
sure.
something like that. That leads to a lot of problems.
So anyway, again, sorry for making probably a bigger deal about it, but we don't see it. I still don't think I've seen it before.
No.
But like Chris was saying, it's more of a regional thing. So if we're, going to Vegas and not seeing it, well, okay. So anyway, Chris goes on to say, now regarding your discussion of face up / face down, there are numerous places that deal a double deck game face up. Many Caesars properties in Vegas have been doing this for 10 plus years. Paris, Planet Hollywood, Flamingo, and Bally's always dealt their double deck game face up, no touching the cards. It made things much easier as a counter, so I used to gravitate to a couple of those games at the time. On the other hand, many places deal from a shoe, but face down, allowing players to touch the cards. It looks horrible, but it exists. Around me, Belterra Casino in Indiana does this. Yeah, I don't think I've seen that before either. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah. What's the reason for that?
I don't know.
Maybe card count. I don't know. Somebody's counting this.
I mean, it is easier to count cards like Chris was saying. If all the cards are dealt face up, you can go through them really quickly. You don't have to wait till the dealer is turning over the cards to see what the results are. You get your count all the way done before the hand is completed. So I don't know. I guess that could be. Ultimately, it's the same game. So if you're not a counter and you're just a good blackjack player playing basic strategy, there's going to be no different. Maybe the amount of time it takes to deal the game, but again.
Well, I'm pleased to know that it's just, a size of hand problem.
It's something like he said, maybe arthritis or, just lack of coordination.
Yeah, older dealers, it would be a little harder. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember the time that we tried to get our cable TV, the cable man came out from a respected company, I guess, and tried to fix it. And when he got in the house, he turned to my wife and he said, "Oh, I'll have to send someone else to do this. My hands are too big." That's what he said.
Really? To what?
To work on the cable. I don't know, I guess.
Well, what was special about your situation? I mean, if he's going out to these service calls, my hands are too big.
Mark, to this day, we still don't know what that was about. My hands are too big is exactly what he told her.
No, I don't.
And then a day later, another guy who was shorter and smaller came out and did it.
It wasn't the cable guy, Mike. The guy who showed up was just hoping to enter a house where he could make a quick robbery, tie up the people, things like that. But then he saw you and your wife there and it's like, no, this is no good. Made up some excuse. The guy who came the next day, that was the scheduled appointment.
That was the scheduled appointment.
Yeah.
That was his excuse. I can't rob you. My hands are too big.
Yeah. Only he fibbed a little bit and said, I can't hook up your cable. My hands are too big.
Oh, we still laugh about that all the time. So just a FYI for all those people out there who might want to get out of doing something, whether it's a house chore or work or something, just can't do that today. My hands are too big.
I think that had to be his excuse every call he went out on.
Yeah,
Hi, my hands are too big.
My hands are too big. Sorry, there'll be another guy tomorrow.
Next call, my hands are too big. Hey, Jerry, you got back from all your calls pretty quick. Yeah, my hands were too big.
Yeah, all done for the day.
All right, let's move on to something even funnier. Mike, have you heard about this possible WWE wagering? World Wrestling Entertainment. So let me just read to you these key points that I copied from the CNBC.com website. WWE has held discussions with state gambling regulators to legalize betting on scripted match results, sources said. WWE is working with the accounting firm of Ernst & Young to secure match results so they won't leak to the public. WWE creative executives don't plan to inform wrestlers who will win until hours before a match. WWE aims to have major sports betting companies offer bets on high-profile matches. Now, Mike, if you were a major betting company, would you want to take these wagers?
Absolutely not. It is the stupidest thing I've ever heard, Mark.
Good for them.
Bar none.
Good for them for trying. One of the arguments they were using was, well, you can bet on the Academy Awards. Well, okay. In some places, you can bet on the Academy Awards. Not like you can walk into a Vegas casino and bet on the Academy Awards.
Right.
And second, they don't take a lot of money on those bets. Those kinds of things because, somebody could be in the know. I just can't imagine wrestling fans being interested in doing this either. But I guess I can't blame them for trying.
Right. Can you imagine, though, a few hours before the guy knows he's going to win, the other guy knows he's going to lose?
Yeah.
I mean, what's to stop them from texting their friend or whoever? I mean, you'd have to put like $10 limits on it or something.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing. It would be a novelty kind of thing. And who knows? Maybe these books would actually be interested in it to get people into sports betting with these novelty bets. I don't know.
Well, yeah, that's just crazy.
All right. Well, if you're looking forward to betting on wrestling, keep your fingers crossed, but don't keep them crossed too long. They might get sore.
Look looking forward to betting on wrestling. Yeah, I really need that wrestling betting.
I'm not really interested in the NFL or March Madness.
It's just stuff stupid.
I can just get WrestleMania.
That's fixed. they buy the rest.
That's right. Oh yeah,
it's all fixed. No. Speaking of betting, just as an aside here, yesterday I went down to Diamond Joe. And it was packed, Mark. Yeah. I mean, literally packed.
Yeah.
And the dealers were like, yeah, it's been this way since Thursday.
Yeah.
So, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I'm sure today it's packed again. And one dealer, I didn't even think of this. And one dealer said to me, he said, yeah, I sure wish Minnesota would get sports betting. I said, oh, yeah, why? And he's like, oh, because then they wouldn't all come here. Because it's like, they got to go somewhere, right? So people in Minneapolis and most of Minnesota just head down to Diamond Joe. It's the first one across the border.
So an employee was saying they don't like how many people show up. I mean, it's good for the company, right?
It's from their standpoint, though, it's like, this is a lot of work. Wow. I mean, the craps tables, 2 live craps tables and 1 video were all full all day.
Yeah.
We, had like 9-10 people on the side.
Yeah.
Because, there's a lot of young guys, like I'd say men between the age of 21 and 30.
Yeah.
And they come down there and they're betting on the games, and the games are all on TVs there and stuff. Right. So they're watching the games, they're drinking, and they're, then they play craps or blackjack or whatever.
Yeah.
But I didn't think about that. I'm like, that'd be better for me if they had, you could make your bets in Minnesota and then drive down and play craps.
That's right. Oh, if they legalized craps in Minnesota, then you wouldn't have to go down there at all.
No, it could go like 40 minutes away to a casino.
All right, let's talk about March Madness a little bit more at the end of the show. But for now, Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. All right, let's move on to some voicemails. First up is Nick.
Hey there, Mark and Dr. Mike. I had to reach out and say thank you for making a donation to my son's Jump Rope for Heart Kids Heart Challenge that they're doing through their PE program this year at school. They're learning all about heart health, and so they came home and talking about, hey, who could we ask to see if they'd like to donate to this great cause? So we did the normal thing. We emailed, grandma and grandpa, aunts and uncles, and then my son said, what about Mark and Dr. Mike? And made me laugh because you guys are one of the podcasts that I can listen to in the car when I'm taking them to and from school. So I thought it was hilarious. They wanted, to reach out to you, and lo and behold, you guys donated, and we could not be more thankful. So thank you guys very much. Maybe you could put a link in the description to my kids' Jump Rope for Heart page, and maybe if some of your listeners want to do it, they could also make a donation too. I would say I did learn how to do hands-only CPR as a skill through the Kids Heart Challenge with my kids, so I encourage all of your listeners, if you don't know how to do hands-only CPR, it's a great life-saving skill that you could do, and you could maybe save a life one day too. To bring it back to the Vegas podcast, my wife and I are taking a trip to Vegas this summer as a 10-year wedding anniversary, and really looking forward to it. I was wondering, what are your favorite couples gambling things that you can do together? We're going to see some shows and things, but we definitely want to do some gambling and do it together. So what's your guys' favorite thing to do with your significant other as a gambling? And we're definitely going to put some money down for you guys too. And hopefully we hit and we win, and that way we can make that donation right back to you guys there. You can bet on that. So I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you again for donating to my kids' Jump Rope for Heart page. Have an awesome day.
All right. Thanks, Nick. Yeah, we're the podcast you can listen to with your kids.
Yeah.
To learn about gambling.
Well, you got to start at some point.
You do have to start at some point. Ask any gambler out there. They started at some point.
And why wait? I mean, you should be ready to go the moment you turn 21.
So, yeah, again, you're welcome, Nick. We will put a link to your son's website there for the donation of the American Heart Association. Again, another great cause.
I got one question for Nick.
All right.
All of the 4, 5, and 6-year-olds and some of the 7-year-old kids at school, when they're learning to jump rope, they do it backwards.
So this is something you've experienced working with kids?
Yes. And I was asking one of the coaches, why do they do that? And he said, God, I don't know, but every kid does it. They start off back, instead of the rope going towards the front of them and then around back, they go to the back of them and around front, like backwards jump roping.
Well, now, are you talking about solo jump roping by yourself, or where you've got like two people on each side?
No, solo jump roping by yourself.
I am not familiar with that. I don't know.
Yeah. It's weird. It's like when I was a kid, you knew how to jump forward, you knew how to jump backwards, right?
Yeah.
But I don't remember starting off the very first time going backwards.
That's something I haven't heard of. And the coach didn't know either.
No, he's like, yeah, we see it a lot, and I don't really know why. So, I don't know. Maybe it's easier to go backwards.
I don't know. All right, Nick, if you have any information that can help Dr. Mike out here about quote unquote backwards jump roping, please let us know.
It's the only thing I'm really don't have a full grip on, Mark. Everything else in my life, I pretty much got worked out.
Yeah, you certainly do, Dr. Mike. Well, he's asking about couples gambling here. So, I mean, it's going to depend on how much your significant other likes gambling. So, like, for example, my wife, she kind of likes it. But it does not necessarily, like when we're playing craps, she doesn't really want to play. She just wants to watch me play. And what I end up doing, actually, I get so uptight, I just give her a massage while I'm waiting on rolls. It's interesting because it's hard for me to give her a massage at home because I'm just so antsy. I've always got stuff going. But it's easy for me to do it at a craps table because, like, come on, roll the dice, and I'm just nervous. But some other suggestions, there are a lot of slot machines now that have big chairs for two people to sit on. Even those individual craps machines, the cylinder craps, a lot of them have big wide seats so you can do that together. Sit and do some stadium gaming. Do some Pai Gow poker together. I think that's a great game to play together. Much better, I think, than blackjack. Because, I think so. Oh, yeah. Because, I don't know, with blackjack, there's all this talk about blackjack that I kind of agree with. A lot of times the people at the table are just in a bad mood or, how come you're taking so long? At least with Pai Gow poker, you're all working independently. And then maybe if your significant other isn't as familiar with the game, you can set your hand. And then help them set their hand. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that is nice. Well, craps. I mean, for me and Lynn, it's craps. You know?
Well,
and then sometimes slot machines.
Yeah, right.
She likes slot machines.
Now, when you play craps, one nice thing, too, is that maybe she's not playing as much as you or as high limits as you, I guess I should say.
Right.
So she can play kind of lower limits sometimes at a craps table if it's a high minimum. Say like it's a $50 table. They will let a couple play if the combined total is $50.
Right.
Not all the time. It depends on how crowded the table is. But you could have a situation where, Mike, you're playing, $50 on the line, and then Lynn's playing $10 on the line.
Right.
And they're only playing on your card.
Right.
Something like that.
They're just giving it all to me like I'm betting 60.
Yeah.
But that's another thing. That's fun.
Any other suggestions?
Slots, get two slot machines that are next to each other. If you
that's
can't
true
find
too.
One with a big seat.
Yeah.
Get two slot machines next to each other and watch each other's, take turns pushing your machine.
Or you know what our friends Frank and Mary do all the time? They go to the bar, play video poker. They're just ordering drinks and, they're not playing that fast. They're having a good time. They're talking with people. I mean, that's a great night out for them, right? So video poker at the bar, I think another great idea.
Yeah. It just depends on what you're into, I guess, Yeah. If they have a Keno lounge, you just sit in the Keno lounge.
No, I don't.
Look at each other. Just look
I don't condone that advice.
Or
don't sit in the Keno lounge with your
41. If only 8 had come up.
Yeah. All right, let me fill out another card, and then we'll wait 10 minutes for the next game.
Well, you have plenty of time to massage each other. There you go.
That's I'm about.
That's the deal.
Yeah.
That's the deal. Yeah, get a massage while you're playing Keno. Speaking of that, here's another funny story.
All right.
One of the boxmen last night, his name's Corey at Diamond Joe's, said, I think that they should allow a masseuse to put like a chair in one of the back rooms that's not being used. And when dealers go on break, they can get a massage, like a $20 for a 5-minute massage.
Oh, massage for the dealers. Because we do see, massages for players.
Right. Oh, players. But he said, one in the back room for the dealers. He said the person doing it, the massage guy, he just, gets $20 for 5 minutes. A lot of dealers would do it. He'd make money. The dealers would be happy.
Boy, if they could incorporate that into tipping. Like that, such and such is going on a break. Oh, well, let me pay for her massage. Right?
Yeah.
Here you go. That kind of thing. Just make it available. All right, get on that, Mike.
Yeah, I'm going to get on that for the dealers. Massages for the dealers on their breaks. But, I suggested instead of massages, they have little foot massager things, that you just set your feet on.
Yeah.
And you get a foot massage.
Well, just a massage chair.
Yeah, or a massage chair. Yeah. That'd be something the casino would have to invest in, though.
Or you could, buy them for them. Just bring them one day. Come on in, boys.
I think I did last night.
You donated enough for they can get chairs?
Yeah, $2,800.
Drop down. Nice.
Had to buy half a chair, maybe.
All right. Well, the last few episodes we've been talking about, hey, how do casinos that I've never played in get my name and start sending me all this marketing advice? So we've got a little information here. Let's start with a call from Steve.
Hey, Mike and Dr. Mark. This is Steve from North Carolina, home-based Cherokee Casino. I just wanted to run something by regarding the mystery about Venetian. So I feel like it's probably the National Casino Marketing people that are sending those out. They definitely have information on other casinos. I'm not 100% sure on this, but the way that I figured it out, because I get them occasionally as well, is one of my hosts that was in Vegas with National Casino Marketing is the name that has been on one of those emails that I got from Venetian. So that's what I'm thinking it might be, that they're cross-marketing, which I think they can do. I know I have one in North Carolina that is that way, and they can definitely market to different casinos. So just wanted to throw that out there. Might be what's happening. Thanks for the show. Love it. Talk to y'all soon.
Yeah, if you're working with an independent host, that is a host that doesn't work for a specific property, that definitely makes sense, right? They're going to want to try to get you deals from all sorts of places. The better the deal, the more likely you're going to go. So certainly that makes sense. But yeah, this turned out to be a popular topic with a lot of our listeners. Here's something interesting. We got an email from listener Eric regarding the Venetian Las Vegas offers that your callers have been getting lately. I might have found the connection between them and Caesars. Apollo acquired the Venetian and Palazzo in Las Vegas from Sands in 2022. They also previously owned Caesars Entertainment, and from the press release I sent you, they're partnering with a real estate investment trust that still owns part of Caesars. I wouldn't be surprised if they are targeting players from their old Caesars players database and luring them into Venetian to make the numbers look better for upcoming quarters. I don't know if that's the answer, but there is definitely a connection between the two. Okay, so that's some speculation. Beyond that, if you're a host that maybe changes properties, you're not necessarily supposed to take the players list with you. But that's not to say that some hosts don't, or, have gotten a relationship with these people where they've got their phone numbers, that kind of thing. So, yeah, that could be some of it too.
Yeah, it's a very complicated process.
Well, here's a voicemail from William that might actually finally explain the whole thing.
All right, good.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike, this is William from Fort Worth. I was hoping I could help with the flyers or the mail-out confusion. So I just opened my mail and I had a flyer, and it was from Red Square in Moscow, and it said, if you will play $100 at the Hippodrome in London, if you'll do that, they'll stamp it, and then if you take that to Vegas, when next time you're in Vegas, at the Barbary Coast, but the Barbary Coast was crossed out with a line, like a kind of a thin marker, like a permanent marker, Sharpie, and it said Cromwell, then you'll get $300 in chips. It was clarified, no slot play, but it had to be table play chips, and it was one use only. So hopefully this helps with the confusion. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Okay. William, I think you figured it all out there. That sounds about right.
Yep.
Red Square. I like that he's getting the mail from Red Square.
Red Square.
Russia, yeah.
This sounds like one of those scams that come out of Russia or God knows where.
Oh, it does. Seems like a scam. You don't think that something from Russia telling you to go to the Hippodrome and then being able to get free play at Cromwell is legitimate? You think it's more of a scam?
Well,
I'm trying to think where they're making their money in this situation.
I've kind of always believed anything from Barbary Coast was a scam. That's kind of what I always thought.
Oh, that's so great that it's Barbary Coast. It's not Bill's Gambling Hall, which was the last iteration. It's Barbary Coast. Yes.
It's Barbary Coast. Yeah, I got one from the Maxim the other day, and
oh, good old Maxim.
yeah.
All right. Well, I'm sure this topic will continue to be an interesting one amongst our listeners.
Well, we got to thank William for getting it all cleared up.
Thank you, William.
So.
All right, next call.
Hey, guys, it's Jeff from Los Angeles. I was wondering about the popularity of craps kind of overseas. You had a few trip reports from people overseas. Am I saying it right? The Hippodrome. And they had to hunt down a craps table there. Is craps kind of an American game and not so popular overseas? Which, makes sense. I wouldn't expect to find a chemin de fer table anywhere at a casino I go to. If I went to Monaco, would they have craps there, or is that too lowbrow for that place? And how popular is the game, do you feel, kind of in America? I know certain games are kind of popular in certain places. I heard Michael Shackelford once said, if you're looking for Spanish 21, it really doesn't exist in Vegas. He thought it might be one table at the Venetian, but he said other than that, it's kind of not in Vegas anymore. And not from him, but I heard somebody else make the comment that Spanish 21 is so popular in the state of Washington and their casinos that you'll find more Spanish 21 tables than blackjack tables. So games do, I guess, vary from district to district, and really wondering how popular craps is kind of worldwide. Anyway, keep up the good work and take care. Bye.
Yeah, game popularity definitely can be different in different regions. When it comes to craps, it's definitely an American game, not nearly as popular overseas. And a lot of that...
You'll barely see it in the Asian countries.
Yeah, right.
A lot of Europe, you won't see.
Well, even other English-speaking countries, right? Maybe a few tables in England, a few tables in Australia.
Right, just a few. They don't have it's not like here where you could walk into a casino in Vegas or Atlantic City and see 10 or 12 craps tables.
Yeah. A lot of the popularity stems from the troops in World War II playing craps. It really caught on with them. It was easy to just have a pair of dice on you and, get a craps game going. And so that's why it became popular in the United States and has stayed popular. Years ago, when we were first starting the podcast, we were talking about, well, is craps kind of, slowly dying out? And now I don't think so. I think it's kind of leveled off and maybe even become a little more popular again. So, but again, back to your question, Jeff, it's definitely more popular in America than anywhere else. Games... He's talking about how in Washington gets Spanish 21 everywhere. Yeah, I don't see Spanish 21 anymore. That was one of your dad's favorite games.
Oh, my dad loved that, yeah.
Caribbean Stud was sort of what you could call the original carnival game and was very popular when it initially came out. I can't think of any place that has Caribbean Stud anymore.
No.
The only real carnival game that I think has really caught on and is here to stay is three-card poker. That's very popular with people, and I think that's going to be around for a while.
That's probably indicative of the poker craze.
Could be, and it's a very simple game to play, too. But, you feel some anticipation, what do I have? What's the dealer going to have? The side bets are very popular and simple.
Well, what do you think about this idea? It's probably because it's designed for people who really don't know how to play poker. Like, they're not going to sit down in a poker room and play Omaha or
right, because it's not it uses the rules of poker, but it's not a poker game, right?
But it's not a poker game.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people, this is just my opinion, but you'll see a lot of middle-aged to older people sitting there playing because if you're not a poker player, this is like saying you play poker, but
and it's just 3 cards. You flip them up, you immediately know what you have, right? You don't have to think about it too much. Yeah.
And the betting sequence is not difficult or anything. So I think it just appeals because it's called poker.
That could be too. But again, getting back to the question, craps, it's an American game, and you won't find it in many foreign casinos.
Well, of all the games, and now I'm saying this, I know people might think I'm biased, and maybe I am, but from all the games in a casino, I find craps the most exciting, the most enjoyable.
I do too. I enjoy it more than other games. That's not to say
there's a lot going on.
Yeah, right.
The action's kind of nonstop. There's no shuffling a 6-deck shoe or something where you just sit there.
Right.
There's no, like on a roulette table, the spin, and then they got to clear off and pay off, and you're just sitting there waiting to make your next bet.
Yeah.
It just seems to me like it's the most fun. And you can talk to people. That's actually encouraged.
Yeah, you're kind of all playing together.
Right.
Unless somebody's on the don't, of course. You're playing together. It's different when roulette, you're betting on different numbers. Blackjack, you get different hands. Pai-Gow, you even get different hands. I agree with you, Mike. I enjoy it more than anything else, too. That's not to say I don't enjoy playing other games, and I could sit for hours at some other game. But,
sure,
I mean, that's why we talk about craps so much, because we enjoy it.
I mean,
so much.
I like other games, too. I just think that if I was to walk into a casino with somebody who never played, what game is going to really, excite them? I think I'm going for that. It's just, I don't know. People are intimidated by it. I hear that all the time because, there's a lot going on and stuff, but there really isn't.
Yeah,
there's only as much going on as you want to go on.
Right. That's the bottom line. And that's why it really helps to have somebody who's knowledgeable about the game introduce you to it. So that, you're not overwhelmed by, the entire layout. They can just get to the meat of the game.
Right.
Which is fairly straightforward, yeah.
Right. So anyway, I think that's why it's popular in America. Our culture is more about fun and excitement. The rest of the world is, stodgy and I don't know.
All right. Again, send your emails directly to Dr. Mike. You can bet on that at gmail.com.
We're loosey-goosey here in America, Mark.
All right. Next call.
Hello, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Tristan from Orange County. I'm calling on the morning of the 15th to give a hearty thank you to Mark and Tim Lawson, actually, for shaming the hell out of Vinny Jens and Big Joe, and now they're back. I refreshed my podcast this morning, and there was a new episode, and I'm so happy because I just finished my second re-listen of that podcast, and I'm like, oh, now I don't have any more to listen to, and there it was, episode 52. It's a miracle. All right, that was it. I'll be going to Vegas in the next 2 weeks, and I'll call back after that. Thanks, bye.
All right, well, good luck on your trip, Tristan. Yep, the 7 Out podcast is back. The latest episode, give it a listen. Vinny Chen seems a little discombobulated. It is a pretty funny listen, because especially for Vinny trying to get back into it. But they're back.
Evidently, you and Tim Lawson are the instigators of that.
Well, I'll give it more to Tim, because he had that one episode where he invited Adam Bauer and Vito and Vinny Jens to the show, and was, I was in the comment section kind of trying to shame him into, hey, come on, Dr. Mike and I do a show every 2 weeks. How hard can it be? So maybe that contributed to it a little bit. But yeah, it's great to have them back.
I should call Vinny up and give him a lesson about not bowing to pressure,
So you're saying they shouldn't have come back?
No, I'm glad they came back. It just shouldn't be because you pressured them into it.
Oh, okay.
Because me, I don't get pressured into anything.
So, I see. Okay. So really, what you're saying is Vinny should have said, well, I was planning on talking Big Joe into reviving the show, but with all the pressure I got from Tim and Mark, we're not going to do it now.
Yeah, right.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Next up is Kevin.
Hey guys, it's Kevin from Wisconsin. One quick cautionary tale for your great fan base. My wife was playing a slot and hit a jackpot for about $1,000. When the credits stopped rolling, the machine kicked out a ticket for the jackpot, kicked it out immediately. After taking a few pictures, we whisked the ticket away and went over to the voucher machine to cash it in. I think we got a soda or something and just started laughing at her luck and texting a few friends and stuff. When reviewing the picture, we noticed she still had $221 left in the machine. We left the game prematurely without taking all the money. Well, good thing we took pictures. We were able to show the machine win, the ticket timestamp, and the remaining credits to casino personnel to prove our mistake. It's pretty cool to watch slot security monkey with the machine, replay the wheel spins, and verify all the information collected during the session. Ultimately, a suit grabbed her information and told us they will try to recoup the money after reviewing the security footage. If they couldn't find the person who took the credits, well, we were out of luck. The end result is good. They found the guy who took our credits, and my wife is going to get her money back. It took them 2 days to get back to us, but again, all's well that ends well. For your listeners, just remember that sometimes on significant jackpots, slot machines will issue a ticket with the win immediately and keep the remaining credits in the machine. I think it's pretty common, but wife and I haven't experienced that before. I've seen it a couple times on YouTube. I have basketball when you guys are in Biloxi, so we can't meet you. Have fun. I threw in a karma donation for a business trip in Vegas this week. Yes, I said business. My company's having a sales meeting at the Rampart. Take care and keep those rolls fast and those losses slow. See ya.
All right. Well, good luck if you gamble at all when you go to Vegas, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin. He will.
Yeah, this is great advice. Now, what happens is some machines have a maximum balance that you can have on at any point. And if the balance goes over that amount, the machine will automatically print out a ticket for a partial amount of that balance. Now, it doesn't have to be when a jackpot hits. It's more likely to be when a jackpot hits, because it very quickly will increase the balance. But, even maybe you were just slowly, winning $5 at a time, $5 at a time. If it gets above that maximum balance, it will automatically spit out a ticket for some of the balance. So you have to be aware of that. Anytime a ticket comes out automatically, make sure you look and see what the balance is, because chances are there still is money on that machine.
Yeah, it's to your advantage, actually, that it spits them out, right?
How so?
Well, then you pocket that, and this is just conjecture, but it's kind of like, put that in your wallet, continue playing with what you have, and you walk away with some money.
I guess. I think it's actually more confusing. And what happened to Kevin and his wife, that's what makes it confusing, right? They hit a jackpot. They assumed, and I would too, they just assumed, the jackpot, since we hit it, it's paying us out with everything. And that's not the case. It just so happens that machine went above the maximum balance. So no, I'm not sure what the logic is behind there being a maximum, but I wouldn't say this is to your advantage, no.
Well, there has to be some reason.
I'm sure there is some reason that they, the casinos don't want huge balances to accumulate on slot machines. I'm sure there is. I can't think of what it might be.
They certainly don't want to have what happened to Kevin happen, because that's a lot of work for them.
Oh, yeah, right. So, why,
that.
Yeah. Anyway, be aware of it. Yeah.
My brother has mentioned that quite a few times, where the machine spits out stuff to him all the time.
It's happened to me on bubble craps. Let's say I'm playing the don't, and I have a bunch of bets that win suddenly because a 7 came up.
Right.
There have been times where it's gone above that maximum value, and it's printed out a partial ticket. So, yeah.
All right. Well, this is another thing for us to investigate.
No, I'm not. No, there's no more investigation. I'm not curious.
Oh, it's going to start a big thing. William's going to call back and explain to us.
That's right.
The machines are made in, Zambia or somewhere, and it's all some fraud.
All right. Next call.
Hey, guys. This is Eric from East Tennessee. I took the annual trip to Tunica for Valentine's Day. Stayed at the Gold Strike. Give y'all a little heads up. The Gold Strike is no longer MGM. The Cherokee Nation out of Oklahoma has bought it. Thought something was funny going on with the MGM app. I made the reservation on it, but when I tried to get there and check in, it wasn't working. But everything was fine. They honored everything. Probably had the best crap throw of my life. If I would have been using some kind of power press, squeeze play, or something like that, it would have probably been up close to 20,000. Got the 6 and 8 both up to 300 2 times. Brought them back down to 30. Cost myself a lot of money, but I play very conservative. And the last thing, I saw a blind guy, and the casino had an employee there with him, telling him what he hit. And I was thinking, this seems a little odd, but the guy seemed like he was having a really good time. He would push the max bet button, the casino employee would tell him what he was hitting, and then he hit a bonus and the machine started vibrating. This guy was having a ball. First time I'd ever seen that. Just wonder if y'all could comment on that and your thoughts. Have a great spring, and see you guys later. Bye.
All right. Yeah, I've seen blind players playing poker on TV, And they usually have a partner there as basically as their eyes that tells them, what their down cards are, what the board is, that kind of thing. They're not allowed to help with strategy at all, obviously, because one person to a hand, but they're there to kind of do that. I remember also when we were doing a craps lesson at Golden Gate, there was a couple there who were legally blind. They could see some, but they were clearly legally blind, and they were playing craps and having a great time.
I remember that.
Yeah, this is the first time I've heard of a casino employee sitting with a blind player to help them out. That's great if that's the case. I don't know what the policy is at casinos as far as offering that to blind people or viewing impaired people. Have you ever seen a blind person in person actually playing at the casino?
Yeah, I have.
Okay. Under what circumstance?
Well, with somebody with them. It was at craps.
It was craps. Okay.
Yeah, so it wasn't like they're giving away any information or anything.
Right. But it was a friend or an acquaintance, somebody helping. It wasn't somebody who worked for the casino.
No. Yeah. It was like, his caregiver or buddy or cousin, I don't know. But he was just telling him what he wanted to bet and, what was the roll. And the guy would say, this is the roll, kind of like I do for you sometimes. And
thanks, Dr. Mike. You're my helper doctor.
Anyway, I've seen that. Okay. Now, I wonder if there are some ADA rules for casinos if, like, you have to be wheelchair accessible in the bathroom, stuff like that. But what about, for gaming? I wonder if there are some rules for that. Like, let's say a guy in a wheelchair wants to play, a slot machine. He can't get out of his chair. Is there somebody that comes over and moves the chairs for him? Or
I would love to know, number one, what the laws are, and it might vary by state to state. And number two, what individual casino policies are. Just in-house policies, regulations for
the
disabled
American
people,
Disabilities Act is national, right? So there's got to be some national rule, and then the states make it either harder.
It's kind of broad, though. I'd like to know what the specifics are for actually playing in a casino.
That's a great question, because I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking, if a blind person came in, they didn't have anyone with them.
Yeah.
Or they didn't have someone with them who was familiar with the game.
Yeah, right.
Maybe somebody drove them, but they don't know how to play blackjack or crap, So does the casino provide somebody? Are they required to? Or
if anybody knows, let us know. Yeah, that'd be an interesting topic. Yeah. All right, final call.
Hey guys, Nathan from Sacramento here. Hope everything's all well with you guys. This, I hope, is kind of a good retro story for all the longtime listeners. I took my time catching up on the old podcast, not for any other reason than wanting to listen to you guys while I drive at least a lengthy distance. I really enjoy the show, so it makes the time go by faster. But anyway, I was listening to an old one during COVID, and you guys started talking about a Twilight Zone episode, the one where William Shatner gets fortunes from the napkin holder. Well, my great-grandfather invented that napkin holder. It's called Ask Swami. And my grandfather ran the route for years. How that relates to gambling is I've followed it on eBay for probably almost 20 years, trying to buy one because it has my grandfather's name on it and stuff. And they were always so expensive. Well, I watched it go from around $200 to now around $500. And last year, 1 week at Caesar's Palace, I had a very good trip. And the first thing I did when I got home is bid on one of those and outbid everybody and got one of those exact napkin holders. So, yeah, I have one now. I just thought it was funny because you guys were talking about it. On a different note, been going to northern Nevada, and all their crap tables are 25 minimum, and nobody's playing. On a Saturday night, you get some play, but other than that, it's been all bubble craps, and I don't know what they're thinking. Why have the limit so high if nobody plays? But anyway, I guess they know more than me, so... All right. Talk to you guys later. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, there's always a lot of talk about, hey, why aren't they lowering the limits? Because nobody's playing. And certainly, if literally nobody is playing all night, they're not making any money. They should be lowering the limits. However, there are times when all it takes is one player to show up at that $25 table, and suddenly the casino is making more money than they would if it was like a full $5 table or something like that. So they're basing it on some statistics, but yeah, maybe in some cases they should just lower the limits.
I'm sure they've got it worked out where they know exactly what they're doing.
I'm sure they do too, Dr. Mike.
But yeah, sometimes I'll give you an example. Just yesterday at Diamond Joe, right? They have two tables. They're both $10 with 10 times odds.
Mm-hmm.
All these young guys are in there sports betting. And when the second table opened at noon, they were actually there at 11, standing next to the table, waiting for it to open.
Yeah.
And then they all on there, and they bought in for like $20, $40. I don't think anyone bought in for over $50. And so, they're putting $10. They're not taking odds or anything. And, the other table too, there's plenty of people who are betting well over $10. There's people betting, like me, $50 on every number or something. Why not just make a $15 or a $25 table?
Right, if they're both packed. And they didn't, the whole day?
Nope, never changed it.
Huh.
Never even went to 15.
Yeah,
and
okay.
I was thinking, I would have made that table where the young guys were 15 or 25 or something, opened it. And then people like me or somebody else, they'd move over there, right?
Yeah.
And then let those guys fill up the $10. Is this weird?
I don't know. It's great for the low rollers, and they're having a good time. And
I personally, I don't care because I'm going to bet what I'm going to bet. Doesn't matter what the table is.
Yeah.
But, from the casino standpoint, I was thinking, God, there's all these people here. I just up the limits a little bit.
Yeah.
Even 15,
Right. Just go to 15, see what happens. As far as
it'd fill up. It would have filled up yesterday.
Yeah. What's interesting about Nathan's great-grandfather creating the Ask Swami machine, it was actually called the Mystic Seer on the Twilight Zone episode, but the concept the same. It's a napkin holder, and you ask it a yes or no question. You know what is interesting about that episode too, Mike? Maybe there's nothing supernatural going on. Some Twilight Zones, it was clear that was science fiction or supernatural.
Right.
But here it's like, it could all be just in William Shatner's character's head. Right. There's nothing. So it makes it kind of an interesting episode.
Yeah. No, he was in two of the best episodes of Twilight Zone ever.
That's right. This one is kind of the lesser known one. And the more well known one, of course, is the one where he sees like a gremlin on the wing of a plane. Yeah. So,
yeah. Oh, William Shatner.
He's still around, baby.
Yeah.
We saw him live. We were at Comic-Con. We went to one of his sessions. So, yeah, he's something.
Yeah, well, we saw him at the Star Trek convention in LA.
Oh, that's right. It's so fun because, when you go to see William Shatner, it's all about William Shatner.
William Shatner, right. Oh, Lynn can't stand him. She's like... Lynn's like, he's so conceited and he's such a terrible actor. And blah, blah, blah. She goes on and on about it. I'm like, it's Captain Kirk.
Oh my God. Of course he's conceited because he's Captain Kirk. And, his acting ability, hey, he was Captain Kirk, baby.
Yeah. Nobody can dispute that.
That's
and
right.
T.J. Hooker. So,
Well, one more thing before we finish here. Blackjack Apprenticeship has published a book called Tales from the Felt. Let me read from their website here. In this beautifully illustrated coffee table book, 21 infamous card counters go on the record to share their first-person, never-before-told tales of adventure, intrigue, and loneliness on the path to beating the game of blackjack. And the reason we're bringing it up on our show is they go on to say proceeds from this book are being donated to help those affected by problem gambling. So again, another good cause. Go check it out. They're not paying us anything. I got an email from them and I thought, okay, well, this seems like a good cause, so we'll pass the information along. I'll post a link to it in our show notes.
Probably very interesting too. I mean, can you imagine? I love when you were reading that about, adventure and intrigue and stuff, but the loneliness.
Oh, yeah,
too.
Right. Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
That's a very lonely
A lot
profession.
of APs talk about, being on the road and just hotels over and over. Nobody's with you. You can't, lament. That's why a lot of people prefer to play in teams, just for the camaraderie. Right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Going to a place where you don't know anybody. Well, how fun was it for you going to Vegas by yourself to card count?
Well, I only did that for a couple of days. It was okay, but I couldn't have done it for any longer. I mean, I realized that when I was doing it, it's like, okay, ultimately this isn't for me.
Yeah. Can you imagine doing that 5-6 days a week for, a year.
No, and the lows, you're going to go on terrible losing streaks, even if, you're counting perfectly. So, yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. We want to thank some people for some recurring donations. Robin from NE Time Gambling, Nathan, Brian Dancer, Brian and Sarah, and Josh. Thank you very much for those recurring donations. We also got a donation from listener Shay, who finished in third place in our tournament. Karma donation for a trip at the end of March to Laughlin. Continued appreciation for what you do. Oh, good luck on that trip. We also got a donation from friend of the show, Miguel. You can bet on that karma donation for my Vegas trip tomorrow. More to follow after my big win. Well, I haven't heard back from Miguel, so I don't know. Might not have had that big win.
He's a friend of ours.
Yeah, he is. Also a donation from Nicholas. Karma donation for a March Madness trip. Love the show. Oh, well, hopefully you're having a great time there, Nicholas. Yeah. Also a donation from Michael. Karma donation for a golf weekend and gambling. Thanks for all the great podcasts. Again, good luck, Michael. A donation from Scott. Karma donation from the great state of North Carolina for upcoming golf, craps, and poker trip beginning on March 19th. And that is the day that we are recording, March 19th. So again, good luck on your trip.
Starting today. Yeah, he's probably, how could he lose? We're recording today.
That's right. Also a donation for our good friend Kevin that we heard from earlier for some good luck in the desert. Well, good luck to you, Kevin. And finally, a donation from Anthony. He did not leave a message, but he and I exchanged a few emails. He's a relatively new listener, so thank you very much, Anthony. Hey, be sure to check out our TV listings showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks at youcanbetonthat.com/TV-listings. And our list of gambling-related movies at youcanbetonthat.com/movies. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
Or you can email us at youcanbetonthat@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at youcanbetonThat and on Facebook at facebook.com/youcanbetonThat. Finally, please go to your favorite podcast app and write a review of the show. We'd love getting your feedback. Mike, we might sound like a broken record because every year we talk about how great the March Madness tournament is. And, it's like, oh, well, is it eventually going to just kind of fade away and not be a thing anymore? No, this thing, it's just built in to be a great sporting event. There are so many games going on, so many close games, so many upsets. Yeah, there are going to be some blowouts. Just change the channel. You could have 4 games going on at the same time. It's been fantastic. Oh, my gosh, the action. We're in day 4 now. Again,
Farley
when we're recording
Dickinson,
this. Oh, yeah, right.
Princeton. Yeah. I'm excited when we're done here. Later, Farley Dickinson's going to play FAU.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to watch that game.
Oh, my gosh. It's just a great time of the year for sports fans. And, of course, we're San Diego State fans, and they're going to the Sweet 16, so we're excited about that,
they're going to beat Alabama.
I know. That's the next one. Alabama. Oh, my gosh. Well, 2 number ones. Only 2 number ones going to the Sweet 16.
Right. Yeah, I've said this over and over, Mark. Best sporting event in the world.
Yeah, I have to agree.
I mean, you can say what you want about the World Cup or the Super Bowl or the World Series or any of those things, but they're like one game a day, right?
Right.
Super Bowl's just one game that day.
There is so much going on, especially these first 4 days. Yep.
Yeah, the first 4 days of March Madness are crazy. And even the second weekend, there's, when it's down to 16 teams, there's still a lot going on.
Yeah.
You can just watch basketball all day. But yeah, there's just, the upsets. It's just crazy.
Yeah, fantastic.
Think about it. Farley Dickinson beating a number 1 Purdue.
Yeah.
Is kind of like saying that Vatican City's soccer team beat, Brazil.
Right. Or, a high school baseball team beat the Yankees, something like that.
Beat the Yankees today.
Yeah,
seriously, that's about the comparison. But it's so exciting. And plus, you've got all your pools going.
Oh, yeah.
And, there's so much to, Super Bowl, you get some pools going, but you get way more pools than this.
Oh, it's so fun. Everybody's brackets, literally everybody in the world in the men's basketball brackets, they were shattered after day 2 with all those upsets. There were no perfect brackets going into day 3. So there you go. Yep.
That's why, what's his name is going to offer,
Oh, that $1 billion offer that he
$1 billion
a few years back. Yeah, that was a
Right.
great gimmick because he knew that nobody was going to hit it. So
No, nobody's ever going to hit him. I mean, that's just crazy, impossible. I saw some guy on Twitter talking about how good he did last year in his picks. This year, he didn't even get like a third of the games right.
All right. Well,
Anyway.
anything else before we sign off, Mike?
Oh, I gotcha. I'm definitely going to go to Biloxi.
Come on.
Yep.
Fantastic. All right.
100%. And by the way, the Diamond Joe Casino is covering it all.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, that's great. Well,
Room and plane and everything.
Sherry and I are going to be
thank
there
you to
soon.
them.
So, that's
They're
great,
awesome.
Mike. Great. All
I'm
right.
going to try and coordinate so I meet you. in New
Okay.
Orleans.
Yeah. All right. Good. All right. Well, we'll see everybody there. All right. Thanks for listening.
Good. Thank you.
Did you guys see me? I was on fire tonight. Man, I can't wait to get back to the shore. God, I love gambling!